Hello and welcome back, guys, to another episode in Driveclub. I hope you've been well and enjoyed my previous videos. Let's see what the weather, track and car gods bring us today. So I'll jump here into the first event available and see what sort of cars are going to be there. It says hypercar, so could be good fun. I don't believe I've raced in Norway on this track before. It might be a new experience and something new. Let's see what's gonna be there. So it's 6 drivers there. Could be a fun little race, and hopefully it's gonna make it a bit easier for me to actually compete with at least some of these guys. Because as you've probably seen in my previous videos, I'm not the top of the list in the races before. So what's available? This is a electric motor Peugeot, I assume. Not entirely sure what this is, and a RUF, which is a German version of Porsche. Not entirely sure what's the difference between the two, as both cars look pretty similar. So if you know the answer to this question, leave me a comment. And look at this beautiful graphics and this track. Hopefully the performance of the car and my driving is going to be as impressive as the graphics itself. So it's the first time I'm actually leading the race. Oh, that wasn't way too long. And I've actually managed to get to the first spot in a fair fight, which is a something new to me. So it feels very weird not to see anyone on the track in front of me. Not because they are way too far, but purely because I was first for a while there. Didn't last too long, unfortunately, because I've messed up as always. Hopefully I can make up some places. The performance of the car isn't really great, if I have to be honest. Not one of those that I enjoy to drive, because it's just too wobbly and hard to control it on the track, but it seems that everyone has pretty similar issues, although it seems I'm the only one who's spinning constantly, and I assume that's nothing to do with the car. It's just the skill of the driver itself. So I guess this little span out killed my chances for being up in top of the race, so I'll try to not make many mistakes going forward, so maybe at least make up a place. So it seems the guy who was driving the same car as I is struggling a lot with the drivability, so it isn't just me, it's the car that's not really driver and user friendly, but I have a feeling it's more to do with the person behind the steering wheel. Let's see if I can make up a bit of time here and maybe catch up with the rest of the guys at least a bit. It's 7 seconds I'm behind the nearest opponent, so it's not too bad, and probably possible to make up as long as I don't mess up big times, and maybe they do an error or two. But the bad news is that the time is going up slightly, so need to push it up. Need to try to improve my speed, and things like this definitely don't help when an idiot from behind just crashes into you. And that's one of the annoying things I found in the online racing games, that some people just don't give a hoot whatsoever. and they just go with full speed until you don't use their brakes whatsoever. So that's quite annoying at times. So it's hard, you need to be well quick and just make sure you're always on top of the race, in the lead, and just push it as hard as you can really, so no one can actually bump into you from behind, which with my driving skill level is quite difficult, as you can imagine. The good news is I'm not falling massively behind, keeping in mind the stupid thing the guy behind me did. He pushed me off the track, so it's around 9 seconds. I'm currently behind the guy in front of me. So I believe it's the last lap, so I'm not gonna have many chances to make the time up. However, the guy behind me span off or went off track, so it gives me an easy opportunity to at least finish in 5th, not the last place, which from memory so far is every single race where I finished just 1 place before last. So probably it's not something you guys want to see, but unfortunately that's where I'm currently at. So maybe I should have taken the electric Peugeot car, which is the one of their concepts they showed off a few years ago, I believe, in Geneva Motor Show. However, I believe I tried it before few times before I started streaming these videos, and didn't really enjoy the performance of the car. So let's see what else is going to be available there. So let's quickly jump into this event down here and see what sort of cars and track is going to be available. It says a bit of rain, which can be fun. So it's a team event of some sort, team time trial. So I'm not sure if it's similar event to one I did a few episodes ago, or it's something different. However, team events can be quite a good fun, especially if you play with your friends. So let's see what sort of cars are going to be up for grabs. Hopefully something different, something you haven't seen yet. So as you can see, I can't really choose many cars because they are unavailable. There's McLaren, Nissan, GTR, Ferrari, F12, Lamborghini Gallardo, and I'll have to go with the Ferrari 488, which is quite a nice car, and I think the controls of it are quite good, and it's quite stable on the road, although having a rear-wheel drive. However, rain can make it very, very tricky, and especially when it's dark. And I don't really remember driving this track before, so it might go either way. So let's see what the track brings us. Need to be quite careful. As you can see, quite a few people went off track straight away there, which isn't great. However, gives me a bit of fresh air ahead. Hopefully not to bump into someone else, because this is all about setting the quickest lap, and probably similar sort of strategy like in the normal team race, that combined track time or fastest lap gets the most point, and so on, and then the team with the highest average score wins. Have to say, so far it's quite tricky because of the rain, I'd say. It makes this Ferrari quite weird and unstable on the road. So I remember playing and driving this car before, and it was completely different experience. However, it was a dry and sunny day, So weather definitely makes a difference in this game, which is one thing I do love about it. So they've tried to make the game as realistic as possible. So unfortunately I didn't really get a good lap, but I'll try to improve on it now. Hopefully get somewhere up in the chart, so our team gets a bit more points, because currently we are behind the other team. And the time trial races are the ones where I normally do a bit better than in the normal races, so this should be right up my street. Hopefully their team doesn't have a super driver who'll be constantly better than I, because I'd love to win at least one race in the series of videos, or otherwise it's going to be a complete embarrassment. It's quite tricky with this weather and the time of day, because I'm struggling to see where the entrance and access to the corners are, so I need to rely kind of on map and just hope for the best at times. So I did improve a bit, but not enough, unfortunately. So need to try and push it a bit further and shave a few seconds off even further than I did. Maybe towards the last lap I will be actually able to get a decent time, because so far it's kinda in the middle of the patch, and it's not really where I'd expect to be. This is one of the corners that I definitely need to improve on, and if I get this right, I'll probably get the whole time of the lap up significantly. Probably another good thing to do is try to do as little drift as possible, because although drift is quite fun to do, it slows the car down a hell of a lot, and that's why you never see any professional drivers ever drift the powerful cars in a race, because although it looks cool, it is probably quite a lot of fun to do as well, but it's just not fast enough. And that's why you need to be braking not when you're entering the corner, but before, making sure that while you're entering the corner you're most likely flat out rather than hitting the brakes, because braking while in a corner is no good. It's even worse when you're flying to hit the brakes. So unfortunately I did it just there and the car just span out, so need to be very careful with the rear wheel drive cars when you brake and how you control the car. And yeah, as I've mentioned before, rear wheel drive cars is not the thing I do enjoy racing, because it is fun when you're just doing it for the drift or sake of fun, but when you're trying to get a good lap, rear wheel cars unfortunately is not my strength. Probably a good thing that it is quite dark, so you don't see the condition of the car, because I believe the amount of accidents I had there, the car is completely destroyed by now. Half the race is gone unfortunately, and I'm still in the bottom part of the patch now, so I fell down a bit from where I was. Let's see if I can do something with this lap, because the first corner was quite good. It was definitely better than I did before, so I'd expect to improve on the lap times a bit. And yes, I did get 1 second off my previous record, however messed up a bit there, and again this corner is always a pain for me for some reason. in time trial you can't really have an accident with an opponent by the looks of it, so they just become invisible and you go right through them. So it's probably so you can actually get to your best possible lap, and you have no one to blame, like I try to do all the time, for having some accidents and stuff. So I believe I will improve this lap by a bit. However, every bit counts, so I overtook one of my teammates. However, I'd rather get into the middle of the opponent list there, to at least try to get to one of red team members into the upper part of the list, because it seems that if I won't do it, no one else will, and I guess with these sort of laps I'll struggle to do a decent lap to get me up there. So I need to probably brake more before I go into corner, because that probably does help. Because currently I'm trying to go more or less flat out all the time, and it just doesn't work. So you can see I'm currently improving my current lap by a tiny little bit, so if I don't mess up in this corner I can actually improve it even further. It seems that I did mess up, because I'm just a rubbish driver, if I'm honest. I do drive way better in real life, I swear to God. I managed to improve it by almost a second, however it's not really where I'd like to be. So let's see if I can squeeze even a bit further, because I guess towards the end of the lap race I do get used to the car and the track, so I managed to get a bit better laps, but need to do much better job. This is the lap I'm struggling with big times. The car itself drives much nicer in dry weather conditions, I have to say. So as soon as it stopped raining, it started to be a much pleasant experience. So as I've mentioned before, rear wheel drive and rain can be fun, but not really the conditions you want for a good clean race. As you can definitely see, definitely not the case for me to get a decent lap time. So I've managed to improve a bit, but it's not enough, and I doubt I'm gonna be able to do another lap, purely because it's 18 seconds left there. Because I had a feeling that I'm getting better and better with these laps. It's just purely because I'm probably getting to know the track better. So maybe with more time I would get better in this thing and would actually be able to get somewhere higher up in the list, but unfortunately the red team again is in the bottom part of the list. At least the positive thing for me is that I'm the upper part of the list. One thing I've learned to do in life is look at the positives rather than concentrating on stuff that doesn't work for you. So I hope, guys, you did enjoy this episode. Seeing 2 new cars, 2 new tracks as well, which both were quite good and could be quite nice to drive. So if you did enjoy it, leave me a comment, press like, subscribe to the channel, as there's more different content to come in the near future. And for now, have a good day. Bye.